And good Tuesday morning. Happy New Year. Our first show of 2026. It is episode 35 of the Inside Drive right here inside the Turn Up Studios. We've got Max Delight in with us as he's been with us many a time. Excited to talk a little bit about college football, NFL football, all sorts of stuff going on coming up this week. Although the sad part is we're getting very close to the end of both of those
I
seasons.
know.
But hey, it's all good things must come to an end. Speaking of good things, we got some sunset or juices and sunsets right in the house today. You guys can check them out at juiceandsunsets.com or check out their Facebook page, Juice and Sunsets. Delicious juice. Max is an OG Juice and Sunsets customer. Max, you've enjoyed their juices?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things because I mean, you get some of those pressed ones at the store. It's not the same. I've
Yep.
seen them make it. It's authentic juice.
Real
Cayenne,
juice.
yeah, real
Yep.
juice, real fruit, cayenne, ginger. It's all the good stuff that you want to be putting in your body. I know that's become like a trend recently, and it genuinely does. Like I know everyone likes to have that efficient fix, and that's definitely it. Gets you your fruit and everything that you need.
Get you a bunch of good stuff just in one drink, which is I'm trying to be a lot healthier with everything I've got going on. So these juices work perfectly into my new diet, so
Yeah,
to speak.
heck
Uh,
yeah.
Speaking of diet, some people may have a new golf diet this year. If you want to improve your score out there, Golf Plus is the place to be in Northwest Florida with the tools and expertise to help you. Their golf shop is filled with every golf brand you could possibly want. The repair shop, second to none. Fast tour van quality repairs every time. Golf Digest has been featured in both Golf Plus has been featured in both Golf and Golf Digest magazine as top club fitters in the country. They can help you maximize your potential with their fitting simulator and cards. Don't have time to play a real round of golf? Bad weather? Book a round on one of their two simulators. Their newly renovated golf shop is your go-to for club fittings, repairs, and retails. Located in the shops at Edgewater next to Firefly. Give them a call at 850-249-2726 or visit them online at golfplusretail.com. At golfplusretail.com, you can also book a fitting or book your simulator time out there. Two simulators now there at Golf Plus for the new year. Excited about all the good stuff they're going to have coming up this year in 2026. Max, how you doing today?
Good. I'm doing really well, thanks.
Excellent.
Day two is your tenant.
Day
in
two is
person,
our
yeah.
tenant, and you've only complained about one thing so far. So, but we've seemed to remedy that, hopefully. Don't get me started on how business internet is such a scam.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been talking to a lot of people domestic on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Surprisingly, actually, a couple people were domestic,
Oh,
which
there
was
you go.
nice.
That's good.
Want to start off with this. Obviously, you're an Indiana alum, huge Indiana football fan, obviously
Yeah.
Chicago Bears fan as
Yeah,
well.
huge weekend.
Huge weekend for you, personally with your teams. Obviously, Indiana used to kind of be, for lack of a better term, the doormat of the Big Ten. There's
Yeah,
some other
no,
teams
it's
now
true.
that have taken
is
that over.
That's a good term.
So to be, on the bottom of the barrel for so long, and then
Yeah.
in the last 2 years making the playoffs, then obviously this year going undefeated, Big Ten champions. Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman Trophy. How exciting it is for you to see this massive turnaround with your Indiana Hoosiers.
It's awesome. If I had been on here in August and you told me that the Bears Packers and the Bears hosting the Packers in the playoffs would have been my second most important game of the weekend, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Going through all the 3-9, 4-8 years, it's made it worth it.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's just genuinely cool to see. I do think these are like the two best teams facing off on Friday too. So I'm really excited. I mean,
Yeah, it should be.
it's been a surreal season.
I could imagine. I mean, that's one of those things that, especially with the new era of college football, you can kind of, if you have the right coaching and get the right players, you can go from, being not so great to pretty dang good in the course of one season.
Yeah, and he's already tearing up the portal. We've got 8 transfers already this week.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of part of it. The more success you have, the more better players you're going to get, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just it's an interesting thing to see because I know like NFL coaches and college coaches for basketball and football, I would say, put in so much time, and it's kind of unique to see a new philosophy where it's, hour and a half practices, not 3-hour practices. He doesn't have anyone stay late. He's like, if you get your work done, it's all business when you're at job, but it's kind of nice. I mean, because I feel like so many of those guys are so overworked between the recruiting and like, I mean, even as a player, I mean, 3-4 hour practices.
It's a job.
Yeah,
as a player.
Wears you down, and
Yep.
there's a reason. Like I would say, we're one of the most healthy teams too in college football is because of things like that, where just the overkill. But
Yeah, it's all those little things that add up to success. No doubt about that.
I saw a post too, and obviously, my feed's gonna be coded for Indiana favoritism, but it was like it's pretty hard not to pass up on this sell right now, where it's less practice time, more efficient, and you're getting a lot of NIL money.
Yeah, kind of a nice combo there.
Yeah,
that is for sure. What do you think about 7 of the last 8 first round bye teams in the last 2 years losing at with the first round bye. You think it's that rest versus rust? You think it's more rust than rest?
It's hard to say.
Because 7 out of 8 of the first, because this is really the first time they expanded to the first
Mhm.
round buys, and then the 4 teams last year all lost their first game after their first round bye, and then 3 out of the 4 lost this past
It's
weekend.
going to be interesting to follow, especially next year, just since it's still a smaller sample size. I
Yep.
feel like so much of it though is just preparation versus.
And playing a live game, regardless if it's versus JMU or Tulane or somebody like that, still better than not playing a live game. Probably, at least it seems to be that case anyway.
Definitely, but on some of them, like I feel like, and I know we'll get into it later, but I feel like Kirby just kind of got out coached, which is weird for him. And then also
By Pete Golding.
Pete Golding of all people. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about. I don't know if Pete Golding's a long-term solution or not, but I mean, it's an impressive win to add to the.
I think he's
the
done
belt.
enough to at least need to be still, heavily involved or in charge of that particular program, especially with how Lane left it. Like you said, we'll get into that here in just a little
Right,
bit.
and but like I don't know. I mean, it was embarrassing for Ryan Day too. I mean, that roster is so much more stacked than
Yep.
Miami. Miami has that vicious D line, but still, there were no adjustments made. And I mean, Julian Sand looked terrified out there.
He did not look prepared. That is for
No,
sure. Speaking of that Miami Ohio State game, can Miami actually win the whole thing?
I think so. I don't see why not. I mean, any of these 4 at this point.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'd probably still think that Ole Miss has the lowest chance because I do still think I know the mantra's changed a little on defense wins championships, but I do think you need some form of defense.
Yep.
Because there was a little bit of luck boxing too on that game with Trinidad Chambliss. Do you think he's going to get his 6th-year waiver?
It's a good question. I mean, I think college football hopes he does because obviously I hadn't really watched a lot of him play football until that game. And
Me too.
that kid was an absolute stud. He just obviously played his best game at the right time. And just the fact that they lost to Georgia in the regular season, in that second half, they did nothing. The first half, they did a bunch. And then obviously in this game from start to finish, you were kind of just sitting there waiting for and it kind of did happen because Georgia did take the lead, late and then let that game winning field goal. Their kicker too is an absolute stud.
Absolute monster.
He's going to be kicking on Sundays, that's for sure. He may even get drafted.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think Chambliss has a chance to get drafted one day, or do you think his game doesn't translate?
I think, the way the current NFL is kind of continuing to go, I think his game could certainly translate. I mean, he does a lot of good off-schedule stuff, and if you watch, I know you watch a lot of NFL, and the players that can extend those plays and do things kind of off-schedule seem to benefit more teams than not.
Yeah, that's true. He also has like one of the coolest names.
Yeah.
Trinidad Chambliss.
It's a very marketable name, that's for sure.
I like seeing too when those guys come from those D2 or FCS schools, and their schools are like Ferris State.
Ferris State's they're a national powerhouse in D2. So for Kiffin to be able to find a guy like that has won championships, I think that makes a big difference too. The more these guys are playing, you're seeing that in the NFL. Some of these quarterbacks that played 4, 5, 6 years are getting to the NFL and, being able to start pretty quickly. The Bo Nixes of the world, those kind of guys.
Yeah.
And, to have these guys that have won championships, regardless of what level it is, because JUCO, any level of division football or Division 1, 2, 3, and FCS is also Division 1. Yeah. Anytime you've won a national championship in that, you're still winning championships, and you know what it takes to do out there with the practice, with the preparation, all that stuff. So I think that was a great find. And I think Chambliss is going to be a good quarterback for years to come.
And he didn't start till week 4 or something because someone went down. So Kiffin might have even not have known that he had that good of a guy.
You see that a lot too, where a quarterback gets an opportunity, and all it takes is one opportunity. And if you seize that moment, like Eminem said, you kind of keep going, and then yep, you can't let it slip, Max, because if you do, then you're not maybe playing on Sundays and making all that money. Yeah. Now you can just make that money in college.
Yeah,
that Alabama-Indiana game, I almost feel like Indiana broke Alabama. I've never seen an Alabama team feel like they quit. And late in that game, the defense for Alabama obviously was exhausted. They were on the field the entire game. Kind of looked like they quit. And that's what Alabama used to do to other teams. And Indiana kind of seemed to play bully ball. Your 2 running backs are just impossible to stop, and that opens up the passing game and all that stuff.
And when they opened the game with 2 sacks and a 3 and out, they were like, "Oh, this is what we do. We're about to just break their hearts." And then
because I think everybody, I mean, unless you're following Indiana super close and watching all those games, obviously the Big Ten championship game, they showed a lot. But I still think there was probably unfairly a little bit of hesitation because Alabama, Indiana, just on paper, regardless of the season, it's just if you people that just kind of live in the past are like, how is Indiana going to beat Alabama? And then we kind of found that out. Indiana is a hell of a football team, and Alabama is kind of a shadow of how they used to be. Some say maybe they shouldn't even been in the playoff.
Yeah, I like what Sig said too in the interview, and they're like, "What are you telling your guys with the mystique and tradition behind Alabama?" He's like, "I don't think they care. We've only watched the film from this year," which is kind of a good subtle like they're not that good. But
only watch the stuff from this year. All the prior stuff that's in the past now.
and like I think the breaking point too is like where it's like I know like everyone can probably relate in their times like when you had a coach or a player where you're like, "Oh, we got this. We're set." And for me, I think it was on that 4th and 1 when they tried to hard count us in the first quarter.
Yep.
Take the timeout and then trot back out the offense. And you see Sig kind of smirking with like his eyebrow raised. He's like, okay. And then they got stuffed, which is crazy. I mean, hindsight 2020, but Grubb calling an offensive running play there when they're running, what was it, -3 yards in the SEC championship game? Like their run game has just not been established. It was terrible in Seattle when Grubb was there. So, and I like Grubb because he came from IU too. He's one of those IU disciples, but I mean, at some point, something's got to give there.
Absolutely. And that's at that point, the Alabama run game. I think a lot of people are not used to seeing Alabama not be able to run the football. And, the Derrick Henrys, the Yeldons, the Jahmyr Gibbs, all these guys that were superstars. You just don't see those superstars really that much. I mean, obviously, Ryan Williams was supposed to be a superstar. But then he kind of had a tough start to the season, dropping footballs left and right. And they seemed to kind of move away from him after that, which is kind of crazy.
I know. They didn't keep utilizing. They kept throwing him screens in the game and in the slot. And I was surprised too because my cousin was at the game and I have a lot of buddies who went there.
Of course.
And I texted them, and you're always gonna get the biased response from them. I was like, what's it like in the crowd? Like, what's the makeup? And they were like 80-20 IU. And I was like, so I texted our mutual friend Jeremy Pridgeon, who was there. I was like, Jeremy, like, be honest with me, what's the breakdown? He's like, it's 80-20 IU. And I was like, no way. So I guess having the largest alumni base matters. But do you think as a non-biased party, if it's Indiana, Miami, which are the two favorites right now, and it's in Miami, what do you think the fan breakout's going to be?
I still think your Indiana fan base is going to travel so well because I don't want to say this is uncharted territory, but this is certainly.
No, you can.
Yeah,
you don't have to mince your words.
You were in the playoff last year, so it's not like you haven't been in the playoff before. But to go this far to do what y'all have been doing is certainly uncharted territory. So it's kind of it's kind of like your team making it to the Super Bowl, and maybe you have a couple extra bucks, a lot of extra bucks to have a bucket list kind of thing. I would assume Indiana fans would show up pretty well down there in Miami, despite Miami being in their own backyard. But it's not really in their backyard because Hard Rock Stadium is not on Miami's campus. It's actually kind of a little bit further away from Coral Gables, which I think is another reason why Miami has so much trouble at home, because is it really truly a home game when they play down there?
Right. And it's like Miami has that, and with respect to Miami fans, has that like, like you live around there, you're a Miami fan. It's like the Dodgers, like just a random fan base of eclectic
because
folks,
you're in the area. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Miami because I did not think they would stand a chance against Ohio State. And then obviously turnovers make a big difference. Like you said, Julian Sane kind of looked like he was a deer in the headlights, so to speak, much less than he looked in previous games. When he looked a lot better in the Indiana game, in my opinion, than in the Miami game. So, but that's how it goes. You got to play the game. There's going to be a winner and a loser of each game.
How'd you think Beck looked against Ohio State?
I thought he looked okay. I'm not the biggest Carson Beck fan, but he's also gets a lot of hate for no reason. I don't really know why, but he's got a good story.
Sounds like he has questionable character.
Thing. And he's
also a kid getting $3-4 million. Like, of course,
absolutely.
Like, if someone gave me $3 million when I was 20, I probably wouldn't have been,
probably making some bad
preacher's
decisions
son.
For sure. Yep. Although preacher's kids have a tendency to be a little bit crazier than non-preacher kids.
It's true.
We talked about it, Ole Miss, Georgia. Do you think Kirby making that decision? I mean, I know it was just one small moment in the game, but then Ole Miss scored on 2 plays later after that when Kirby went for it on his. I think it was somewhere between his 30 and 40, and they went for it on like 4th and 2 and didn't get it. Gave all the momentum right back to Ole Miss, and then Ole Miss scores 2 plays later to go up. Obviously, Georgia came back in that game and, like I said, had the lead and then lost on a walk-off field goal. So you can kind of look at as I thought it was a un-Kirby-like decision.
It was, but I mean, I understand the confidence with that Ole Miss D. So again, like in the hindsight, yeah, of course. But I still like when he went for it at the time. Were you questioning it big time, or were you like? So I was
because
like,
Ole Miss's their front four had been playing great all game, especially up until that moment. And then even in that moment, they played great because they stopped them again. I was just kind of surprised. You could have pinned them deep, so to speak, and then got your defense back out on the field, get a stop, then go down and score. and instead you gave the ball right to Ole Miss. 2 plays later, they score on a nice
Yeah.
touchdown pass from Chambliss.
It's hard not to be rooting for them now that Lane's not there.
Yep.
It's just kind of funny.
Which is kind of a wild part of things. What do you think is going to happen with the whole Lane Kiffin coaching stuff? Because he tried to be like the good guy, letting his assistants coach in that first playoff game, and now he's kind of looking like a jerk if he's trying to pull these guys over to LSU per their contract. What do you think about that whole situation?
And he thought they were for sure going to lose with him.
Absolutely,
Going, like, the ego on him.
The ego on him. He certainly thought that they weren't going to win that game, and then of course they do.
Well, it sounds like the running backs coach is going, but Weiss is still, or Weiss Jr. is going to
still staying. I think that's huge for Ole Miss.
How much, you would know better than me, how much does a running backs coach impact in game or this far into the season? Like,
I think it's more just the working with them, telling them what to look for, what they did wrong, et cetera, et cetera. It's not necessarily, I don't know how much a RB coach, and again, I'm not an expert on this stuff.
You're not trying to diminish them.
Yeah, I don't know how much they actually have into the play calling and the schemes of the game. I have no idea. So I would think Charlie Weiss Jr. obviously would be a lot more important to the success of the Ole Miss schemes anyway.
That makes sense. Another question I had for you too is, how often do you think, like, pro versus college, the guys are talking on the mic to their coordinators on, like, kind of directing them what to do, like the OC and DC?
I would guess more in college, simply because of the immaturity and then not as much reps and all that stuff. But I think NFL is probably just as much. Maybe it's different conversations, more specific things out there, where on the college, this is again just my opinion, on the college side of things, maybe it's more like encouragement, big picture things. NFL might be a little more fine-tuned stuff.
Like in San Francisco, does Shanahan call the plays?
He does.
Okay, that's what I thought, because they're always pretty well scripted plays.
Yeah. Him and Purdy are talking fairly often. Not enough in that Seattle game where we just got absolutely bum rushed the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough. You kind of
I knew that was coming, though.
You said that front line. I mean, you guys still held their own. I'm glad Purdy's healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like Sig was talking to, and our I think Auburn had the highest paid DCU, and I were talking about now.
Yep.
Bryant Haynes, the Indiana DC, is getting $3 million a year,
as he should.
As he should. I mean, after that master class, and like, I like that there's some guys who are realizing, the grass isn't always greener if you go to that head coaching job at USF or whatever. And
sometimes it may make your coaching career a little shorter.
Yeah, because then you see some of the flaws and what you have and what you don't have. And if you're a defensive specialist, why not ride that gravy train?
Yep.
So, because Sig was saying, like, he communicates with the OC a ton, because I'm sure they're both calling plays. But on the DC, he's like Bryant Haynes, like because that guy, like, he's kind of funny because he's active on X sometimes. So he bookmarked a few Bama tweets and was tweeting, and you never see the DCs or OCs coming. And he was like, "How'd that go for you?" and stuff like that. But he
having fun.
Yeah, Sig's like, I'm scared. And he's like, I mean, if it's like a big 1 yard player with something, he'll be like, send the house, big boy, or something. But he's like, I don't say anything. Like, he's like, he's in the zone, and like, he's like, I trust him fully. He's like, he's been with me for 15 years. Same with Shannon. How is our Shanahan related to your Shanahan? Are they cousins or?
I have no idea.
Okay, because the OC is a Shanahan, so somewhere on the family tree. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it would. It would. That's for sure.
I don't know which, if it's because Mike is Kyle's dad. Right?
Yep, with the Broncos there for a long time. A little bit with the Redskins too back in the day.
Was he there when Peyton won? Was that Mike or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who that was. It was one that I think a couple years after Peyton left was no longer there anymore.
And also, I know I wasn't here for, I guess it was during the holidays, but when the Niners played the Colts, it was so cool to see John Lynch dapping up Phillip Rivers, because like that play in the end zone, I know all over the place, but that was so, it was just so surreal that a guy like John Lynch, like in my head is like, I don't know, I know he played 15 years ago, but in my head he's like 60, and then Phillip Rivers is out there.
Yeah, playing football still, and John Lynch probably like, I wish I could be back out there. Patrick Willis has been tweeting a lot saying that, he's ready to come back. All the Niners fans are like, bring him back.
Patrick Willis. Yeah, I love Patrick Willis.
That'd be wild. Him and Navarro Bowman were a force to be reckoned with.
Why is he saying? Just because you guys are so injury depleted?
Yeah, because our entire 53-man roster, all the linebackers that made that roster have been either injured, out, or missed time this season.
Down now too, right?
Yeah, he's down too. D. Winters is now down, who kind of filled in for Fred out. It was supposed to be Fred and Winters.
And Fred's shooting to be back for the divisional.
No,
that was
the championship game.
I saw something optimistic. Was it just not?
Yeah, there was a quick blurb that said something about the wild card or the divisional round. But again, I mean, he just blew out his ankle like 3 months ago. So the fact that
I think America is rooting for you guys, though. Nobody wants Philadelphia to win. The Jalen Hurts
I'm just
speaking,
hoping their offense will sputter like
uh,
it has several times. I mean, they just lost their last game, and so did the Niners. But our defense can't stop can't stop. I don't have a good pun.
can't stop a cold.
Yeah, it can't
Yeah.
stop a cold in the winter.
I don't know. I can't believe that Eagles team decimated the Chiefs and was so dominant on offense. Now this is their offense. Like AJ Brown does you know, he does half-assed routes. I mean, he
Yeah.
just stops halfway through. Jalen Hurts talks like a fortune cookie now after every game. It's so annoying. And then
My only concern is their run. Saquon Barkley obviously is still a great running back, and
Yeah.
our run game is absolutely trash.
do you
so
think he's lost a step at all, or
I'm sure he's lost a little bit of his. I mean, running backs, your average running back lifespan. I mean, obviously he needs a different ball game because he's so good, but it's like 4 years. So
yeah?
you take running back's the hardest position physically to play, in my opinion, in football because
be
you just take
terrifying.
a beating every time you go in there, and you have to deliver the beating a lot too, and that's just so hard on your body.
But that's it's crazy. How is McCaffrey? Like, I don't think he's lost a step still.
He's not open field speed like he used to
But
be,
he's
but he's
so
still
agile.
shifty. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he works very, very hard in the offseason too on all that quick twitch stuff, and you can see it makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Because running back wise, you have to be quick feet, and you have to be able to take a beating. That is for
he had
sure.
some runs against the Bears where I was like, oh my gosh, bring him down. But
That's how I felt against Charbonnet and Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so who's in for Bethune now for the Niners? Is it Kendrick or who do
yeah,
you guys?
Kendricks. Yeah, Eric Kendricks. Yep.
Eric Kendricks. He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. He's been on the practice squad most of
I was gonna say
the
that's a
most of
shot
the year.
in dark.
Yep. He is still there.
That's
Believe it or
awesome.
not. Yeah, it's wild. Every linebacker that made our 53-man roster is either been out or injured at some capacity.
Yeah.
Such a bummer.
I forgot to if we text about this. Is Jusic gonna be a Hall of Famer? Like, will they respect a
I would hope
11-time
so.
Pro Bowl
I mean,
fullback?
to make the Pro Bowl that many times, I think you have to be a Hall of Famer at that point.
Who's the best fullback since him? Allstott?
Or prior to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Or
Allstott.
prior to him, sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple others too. One of the guys played on the Dolphins too. I forget his name. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously, and the way he plays the position, he blocks, he runs, he catches, he does everything. Kind of like Kittle does from the tight end perspective. And you're not just running the football, and he's leading blocking so much for McCaffrey and Robinson. So he's putting himself on the line. I feel like if not more than the actual running backs.
Yeah, you guys just have a really likable team. Like, it seems like very relatable people. It's disappointing to see Robbie Gould wearing a Niners hat though at the Niners Bears game.
They made him the honorary coin toss person or
I
whatever.
think he
it
still
was.
is coaching high school football in Illinois. So disappointing.
I wish he had never left, but I think we're okay right now. Moody's gone, so I saw him miss like an extra point type distance right off the upright, but then he made a longer one. So I don't know. That's why you don't draft kickers unless they're that Ole Miss kicker coming out.
Or punters. I mean, we
punters.
drafted that Tory Taylor guy, and he was ranked like the 17th best punter. It's like we had a decimated roster, and we're using a 4th-round pick on a punter.
Yeah, 4th-round picks can be very, very, very valuable.
Yeah, tell it to Ryan Poles.
I will. All right, the two games, obviously, Oregon and Indiana. Rematch of the game earlier this year where you guys went to Autzen Stadium and came out with the dub in a close-fought game. Physical game that one was, too.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one coming up? Are you worried about it
I'm
at all?
worried. I'm more worried about this than any game. Like, I think that this Oregon team is nasty. And
it's hard to, especially in college and NFL, it's hard to beat a team twice in one season.
Right.
So
And I'm sure it's in the back of their head. And Lanning's a heck of a coach. And I think in Division I football right now, Sig is number 1 and Lanning's number 2 with a win percentage too, which is kind of interesting. So
now they're facing off
2 Titans.
coming
Yeah.
up.
What's your guess as a non-biased party? You won't hurt my feelings if you're picking Oregon too.
I mean, I feel like Oregon's offense, they might have the advantage, but Indiana's defense is so good. If they can get pressure on Dante Moore like he hasn't really felt most of the season, except maybe in that
we sacked him like 5 or 6 times.
Yep. So if you guys can keep doing that, I think the advantage goes to you guys. The only thing, I mean, your run game, in my opinion, too, is so much better than Oregon's run game because y'all's run game just really opens up everything for Mendoza because he's not really a multiple read kind of guy. He plays an RPO type style. So he relies on those backs and he relies on the decisions, because those backs where they're averaging over 5 yards a carry pretty much, right?
Yeah,
like
Black and Hemby.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage in my opinion, and I think that's why you guys will win the game against Oregon is you'll be able to run the football and that opens up the play action passing. We'll see how that correlates in the pro level. If he does go number
Right.
one to the Raiders, being such a first read guy, NFL, you got to work through all your progressions
Totally.
super fast. So maybe he can pick that up quickly. Maybe he's, can do that a little bit more as he gets to the
Yeah,
NFL.
from your mouth to God's ears that we win. I mean,
There you go.
I,
There
if
you
I had
go.
to guess gun to head, I'm gonna go 23-17 Hoosiers. But I mean the last one, so we won 30-20. Very uncharacteristic pick six throw from
Yep.
Mendoza, which you could tell he was so ticked, and Sig had to calm him down, and then he drove and scored a touchdown. Awesome.
He
But
bounces back very well. That kid does.
yeah, he does, and it's funny because I saw a meme that was like Sig is like the old man from Up, and Mendoza's Russell, the kid. But yeah, I'm glad you know that they're like we're such a heavy RPO offense,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of Sig's DNA.
When it
And
works.
and that's why I'm excited for when we have Hoover next year too. Not to look ahead because obviously focus on the semis, but it's another RPO heavy guy. So, um, yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I think the winner of that game's going all the way. Which I don't know if that's a hot take or not. They're probably I don't know if they're the top two or not, just because Indiana's been doing
Yeah.
what they're doing. But
I,
the,
I mean, what do you think about Miami Ole Miss? That's the tougher game,
I don't
in
know
my
what
opinion.
Miami is. I can't figure it out. I think I want to root for Ole Miss because it's like such a cool story and like
And like
I
F
wanna see
Lane,
yeah, F
like
Lane,
Ole Miss,
FBU.
yeah, let them make it to the national championship after he left to go to LSU in such a poor way.
Yeah, which would be awesome. And then now he's already causing issues with taking Sam Leavitt from Kentucky.
Yep.
That's something that has to change the NIL landscape. Like that domino effect of like Minchie from Notre Dame going to Nebraska, now he's
Yep.
going to Kentucky and Leavitt going there. I mean, and then like Sorsby getting $5 million for Brendan Sorsby. That guy was our third string quarterback at Indiana. Like
And
he
he's getting
started
like
briefly.
some royalties too. Did you see that?
Yes. And like, yeah, Mahomes is like, we're gonna win a natty. It's like, dude, I don't think Sorsby's as good as you guys think he is,
Yeah.
but
You're paying him money like he is.
yeah.
I saw somebody post something like, to fix the transfer portal and all that, you get one free transfer, but then the next time you transfer, you got to sit out a season.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of great solutions to limit this all down because there's like 2,300 players in the portal right now.
over a third of college football's in the portal.
Yeah, which is insane. Like the grass isn't always greener, and
No.
all of us we got to this so quickly. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll be joined by Keith Fleming on the line.
People are who build community. The self-starters, the friendly neighbors, the ambitious workers. And that's exactly who our members are. We're PCU. And with us, banking is made better. So whether you need a rewards checking account, financial products that assist with travel, easy business loans, or affordable auto loans, come see us so we can build the community together. Panhandle Credit Union. Banking made better. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
All right, we are back. We got Keith Fleming on the line talking a little bit about the playoffs coming up. The NFL season is officially done. Keith, real quick before we talk about NFL, just want to get your thought. Who do you think the favorite is to win the national championship right now?
Oh man, I could care less with Georgia being eliminated, but if I had to pick a favorite,
Yes,
I
you
think
have
that
to.
Indiana is the real deal. It's pretty impressive what they did to Alabama. I think Miami is going to be tough as well. But if I had to lean right now, I think you're going to get Indiana, Miami in the title game, with Indiana winning it. I'm pulling for Ole Miss, though. I think it'd be a great story. And also, I don't know if Lane Kiffin would ever live down
No,
leaving for the LSU job and the team going on to win the national title.
that would be epic. I think a lot of people are rooting for that unless you're an Indiana fan like my friend Max here today. We're going to talk a little about some NFL stuff, of course. I've got a little, I know you got a lot of stats too, Keith, but last time since these NFL teams have won the division, I think, 7 out of 8 new divisional winners this season, which I think is good for football, in my opinion, on the NFL side of things. Yeah, 7 of the 8 divisions have a new champion this year. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers, by way of your Atlanta Falcons, the last time that they won the division was in the 2015-16 season when they had Cam Newton. They went all the way to Super Bowl 50 and ended up losing that to the Broncos. That was the Peyton Manning Super Bowl we were just talking about. And then you've got 6 years since the Patriots won the AFC East. Keith, you've been talking about this for a while. I feel like we didn't get the Patriots being bad for long enough. The Patriots fans are so spoiled, coming right back again now to win the AFC East. The last time they won that was in the 2019-2020 season. They lost in the wild card round to the Tennessee Titans of all
Was that
teams.
Brady's last year? I
Yeah,
think?
the Panthers though did make the playoffs in 2017 because we shared with them the second longest streak in the NFL, and just the irony of us winning ended their streak in the final game of the year. But the New York Jets are the only team now with a longer streak. They haven't won or made the playoffs since 2010, and now only
Sanchez, right?
us and the Jets are the only teams in the 2020s who have not made the playoffs. Think about that. Every
Eddie,
other team in the NFL.
If you're lumped into something with the Jets, that's certainly not a good thing. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Sorry. I know the Falcons it's been a tough little bit, but hey,
Hey,
I think
things are looking up.
there you go. I think you would rather have the Panthers than the Bucks, right? Win the division.
Yeah, I mean, I did want them to win. My only concern was if we won, would that mean that, like, say, Raheem would keep his job or Terry Fontenot would keep their job?
Yeah.
We needed to clear house. We have not made the playoffs again since 2017, and we haven't had a winning record since then. I mean, we are one of the worst franchises in the NFL right now. There's no doubt about that. So you need a culture change, fair or unfair. I know Fontenot had a great draft, and he did, but he's also the guy that picked a tight end, wide receiver, running back 3 consecutive years when we didn't have a quarterback. That's a problem.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, hopefully, like you said, hopefully it's on the up and up. I feel like we have this conversation since we've been doing radio, and
Hey, winning franchises and losing franchises.
that's right.
Ryan.
Yeah, you've taught me that. That's for sure.
Keith, I think you guys are going to take the Bears assistant GM, is what I'm seeing. Ian Cunningham. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but we get a 3rd-round pick, so you guys can have him.
That figures. Honestly, I wanted somebody from the Eagles or 49ers front office. I think they're the best to run organizations. If you just look at the
Leave our
success
guys
they have in
alone.
the drafts, free agents, etc. But the good news is we're going to have a team president that's not Rich McKay. Rumor is it's going to be Matt Ryan. So it's not like the GM will have
That'd be
final
cool.
say so in these decisions. But the main thing is Rich McKay will officially, they've said he hasn't been involved, but I don't know why they needed to remove him from his current title if he didn't still have some kind of say in the process.
And that's part of it too. I guess Matt Ryan's very well connected with Ian Cunningham. So like, oh, those guys will ebb and flow.
Yep.
So
Makes sense. I just hate that we're giving up another draft pick. Well, remember, we had to give up a tampering pick last year because we were so smart in signing Kirk Cousins. And obviously, we don't have our first rounder this year, which I've came around on. Like, James Pierce is good enough to where that's a understandable move. It really is. And the fact I think it's like the 14th or 15th pick overall, I'm cool with that. But I hated the decision in the moment because we're losers. And we do not do a great job of drafting. So it's like we just gave away potentially, because I mean, just I think 4 weeks ago for our winning streak, it was like the number 4 pick, and that would have been a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have took some kind of offensive weapon that you didn't need.
Exactly. That's a good point.
All right, getting back to these division winners, obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers in that crazy game. A lot of people are concerned with that missed kick, like it might have been quote unquote on purpose. But 5 years since the Steelers won the AFC North, that was the 2020-21 season where they lost in the wild card round to the Browns. I want to pull back on that just a little bit. Lamar Jackson, obviously, he gets a lot of criticism saying he can't win in the playoffs. The last 3 years, in the playoffs, they had that crucial Zay Flowers drop, if you guys remember that one. And then last year in the playoffs, Mark Andrews dropped that touchdown to win the game, which was insane.
And fumbled the ball.
Was
earlier
that
in the
the
game.
touchdown, or was it a 2-point conversion that he dropped?
I think it was the 2-point conversion. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. And then, of course, this past Sunday night, the most notable missed field goal in a long, long time, Tyler Root from a very short, 34 yards, something.
44. 44.
44.
But I mean, Tyler Loop, and that's what was great with Tarico's setup. He spent a minute before that kick went up in the air saying, "This is the most accurate kicker in football."
He
And
does
whole
the pure
decision
announcer
going down.
jinx.
I'm like, "Come on, Tarico, you're killing me."
Did you guys see what Lamar said to him too? Lamar is like such a man child because like I know he like whenever the Ravens kind of try and reel him in as a leader, he just lashes more. He's really just like a grown kid. But he said, this is a direct quote. Lamar Jackson said he did not talk to Tyler Loop after the game, but he did talk to him in the middle of the game when he kicked the ball out of bounds. Lamar admitted that he was quote unquote livid at him, but I told him I'm just hyped based off the emotions of the game right now. I felt like it was going to come down to him winning the game for us at the end based on how it was going. He's a rookie, it's all good. Just leave it in the past. So he just rattled his kicker mid-game.
That's leadership right there. Tyler's like, this was on
and it wasn't even off the miss. It was
on the
on a kick out of bounds. It's like, dude, why are you It's like talking to the starting pitcher. Like, what are you doing?
It's rookie hazing.
Rookie hazing in week 18. It's crazy. But you think there's just some kind of, I don't want to say jinx, but some kind of voodoo maybe around Lamar and his ability to either get to the playoffs or win playoff games? Because that's really been the only, to quote the great Keith Fleming, bugaboo of his career is just not performing in the late season and Super Bowl. And this isn't, again, not
But
on
he
him
has in the last 3. Like,
Yeah,
all
it's not
3 of
on
those
him.
losses are not on him. And I'm going to go and tell you, I think Harbaugh has done a pretty bad job in the last 2 losses for sure, where made some questionable decisions. And I do believe at some point a coach has just ran his course at a franchise. And is part of me saying this because I want him to get fired so the Falcons can hire him? Absolutely. But I do think like him and Tomlin, they're great coaches, but I just think that, over time, the locker room's just like, whatever. This is Harbaugh. He is who he is. Tomlin.
You need to change your
and
culture.
I think that gets people complacent. Yeah, I really do.
Absolutely. It's a good point. Both of those guys have been there for a long time. And yes, I know I know Harbaugh's won a Super Bowl. Has Tomlin won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, Tomlin
very
won
early on in like
with,
Big Ben's first
yeah.
or second year.
Is that the Antoine Randall touchdown pass?
Oh no, the one with the first Big Ben one was what was his name?
He
The
went
guy with the
2?
mustache, Cower. And then
Cower.
Cower won the first one, and then that second one in like 09, I think, was Tomlin. But it was only like his second.
Yeah, I think it was his
or third
second year.
coach.
Yep. So obviously it started off like a ball. And, you can only keep a coach so long because of what they've done in previous seasons. Obviously, trying to move into franchise in a better direction sometimes requires that change of leadership, like you said. Current Super Bowl odds, no surprise here. The Seattle Seahawks are currently 4-1 on Hard Rock Bets. Los Angeles Rams plus 425. Denver Broncos plus 650. Philadelphia Eagles plus 900. Buffalo Bills 10-1. Patriots 10-1. Texans 12-1, Jags 14-1, Bears 20-1, Packers 22 plus 2250. Same with the Niners, Chargers 30-1, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers second to last at 50-1. And then
they were 80-1 just like a few days ago.
And that Hard Rock may have worse odds on this. You never know. Sometimes I know when we looked at golf odds, they'd fluctuate just a little bit. And then of course, if you want to take a flyer on the Carolina Panthers, they're plus 15,000. But they beat the Rams once already, but I don't think they're going to beat them again. That's for sure. So speaking of that, let's talk about each of these big playoff matchups coming up. We'll start with the, I guess, in chronological order here. Let's see. I believe I'm going to pull up my schedule because it doesn't list it on the site. Seahawks obviously have the first round bye. I know we got the Niners play Sunday at 3:30. Other than that, I don't know anything off the top of my head. Let's see. You got it up, Max? I got it right here.
Yeah.
All right. We start with the Rams and the Panthers. Speaking of those plus 15,000 odd Carolina Panthers going up against the team that a lot of people thought were going to be the Super Bowl champions throughout most of the year. Obviously, I don't want to say they've struggled, but they've certainly slowed down a little bit. I was really hoping the Cardinals were going to be able to find a way to win that game to get us a trip to Carolina instead of a trip to Philadelphia. So, Keith, what do you think about this particular matchup? Any chance the Panthers can pull off the upset?
I mean, history says, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been 6 teams that have had a losing record that hosted a wild card game. They're 4-2 in those 6 games, which is really wild if you think about it. Because they are playing the best wild card team, right? Like if you have a losing record, you're definitely the 4th seed. which means you're playing the best of the wild card teams. And the Panthers, I did not know this till I read it earlier. All 8 of their wins this year, they were underdogs, which is just nuts if you think about it.
Yeah. The odds
I
on
don't know
that
how
are
many
not
total
good.
games they were underdogs in, but I'm sure it was a majority of them. But just for all 8 wins, they've proved they can beat good teams. I think the issue for them is twofold. One, the Rams are getting back their nickel corner,
Yep.
which should help their horrid pass defense over the last month. And then more importantly, it looks like Devontae Adams is back. And I just think when you have Adams and Puka with their ability to run the ball, plus, those tight ends and just, Stafford being just incredible. I mean, he's the old gunslinger, right?
Yep.
They're going to be tough to beat. There's a reason that despite them having to play an extra game and all their games on the road, unless, a 6 or 7 seed ends up getting to the NFC title game, they're just slightly lower odds of being the favorites to win
Barely.
the
Yep.
Super Bowl. I think that speaks volumes about the Rams. I do think they need to go out and thump this Panthers team, though. They need to get their mojo back, and it would not surprise me if they do. But Carolina's defense is pretty good. That's the one thing. Maybe they get a cold day, Stafford's old bones and that kind of deal. But I don't know how they're going to stop Puka and Devontae Adams, who are just, I think maybe the best wide receiver duo ever in the history of football.
And there you go. In the history of football. I like the Panthers. I would give the Panthers run game a little bit of an advantage. But again, the Rams front 4 are very, very tough with Verse and Fisk and all those guys from Florida State. Just a great group there, both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Max, any thoughts on this particular game?
Yeah, I know it. Lightning struck once. I don't think it's going to happen again. I know Keith's trend, but unfortunately, I'm not a big believer in the little man, Bryce Young. I'm going to have to go, I say with my 5'11" frame, but I'm going to go with
Yeah, but you're not out there playing NFL football.
That's true. He's winning. But I think I just have a disdain for him because my friends who went to Bama always called him a generational pocket presence. And I'm like, dude, where's this generational pocket presence? But I'm going to go Rams 27-13.
And that's probably pretty fair. Keith, what do you think for score wise? Not to put you on the spot.
I think Bryce is going to have to air it out
Yeah.
for them to beat them. That's the way you got to move the ball. And the Rams, I think they win like 30-21.
There you go.
Panthers covering then.
All right. Yeah. What's
It's
the
a lot of
spread on that
points.
one? Yeah,
10.
-10 in an opening in a playoff game
On the
is
road.
pretty wild. And then, of course, a very familiar matchup. The second game on this will be Saturday evening. Max, you got a lot of excitement for this one.
Sure
Hope
do.
you have a subscription to Prime Video because that's where the game is on.
Is it really?
It is. It is Prime Video.
I do.
Packers and Bears. Packers that 7 seed, and Bears ended up being the.
This is only the
number 2
second
seed,
time
yeah.
they've ever played each other in the postseason. Excuse me, this is the third. Once in like the 40s, you had that Rodgers Cutler matchup, or actually, I think
No,
Cutler actually
It
got
was
knocked
Rodgers,
out. Right?
Caleb Haney the whole game, and that's
That's
the only
what it was,
reason that
yeah.
man has a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm
And,
not mad.
Not bitter. Well, maybe you can change the script this year.
Yeah.
No more Rodgers
Right.
on your team. No more. What was his name? To Cutler. No Jay. Anyway, was he?
Smoking Jay.
No, was Mitch Trubisky your first round pick?
He was.
It was
Oh
Cutler.
yeah, he's like the top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we traded for Cutler.
That's right. That's right.
He looked
Smoking
good on Sunday though.
I'm happy for him.
Hey.
He's not. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just, wasn't ready for the moment.
No, as a lot of them aren't. That's for sure. Obviously, Bears hosting this game, rival team there, the Packers. What do you think, Max? We'll let you go first in this one.
This is like Nick Saban picking the Bama Indiana game. I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Well, yeah.
And not add any commentary like he did with
Let's
Bama.
hope it's not the same result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm gonna go 24-23 Bears.
That close, huh?
Yeah, I haven't looked at what's the total? Is it probably close?
45.5.
Yeah, so pretty much
Yep.
picked the line.
Right on it. Right on it. Jordan Love's back, right?
He is. Yeah,
He's
they rested
Yes.
everyone.
He's unconcussed
Yeah.
because that other quarterback, or Malik Willis, kept him there for a little while. But who'd they have playing this past weekend?
Oh,
Clippers.
Clayton Tune.
Clayton
Right?
Tune.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Clayton Tune. You're right. Yeah.
And
On that Jordan Love concussion too, Bears got a lot of slack for it, but like I know you're not supposed to act like that, but you're also not supposed to fall and duck your head like that.
no,
So I don't feel that bad for him.
you're not taught to lower your head anymore. You're supposed to get your shoulder in there first. That's for sure. Keith, what do you think about this one? Do you think it's going to be close, or do you think the Bears kind of pull away a little bit?
It's going to be interesting because I was shocked. The Packers actually opened as a favorite, which really surprised me because Ben Johnson has done just a phenomenal job with Caleb Williams, who we know he led the league last year in negative plays. This year, he leads the league in throwaways. That's part of the reason he has, not a great completion percentage, but throwaways are better than sacks and just
Absolutely.
heaving it up. And it's good to see he's on that. And he's got the second lowest pressure to sack rate to your boy Brock Purdy. So I think Caleb is made for this moment. The worry is this is probably the healthiest the Packers team has been in quite some time. You think about it, like Jordan Love and Christian Watson have been incredible since week 10. Love has the second highest QBR in games that him and Watson play together since then. And, the Packers enter on a 4-game losing streak, but 3 of those games without Love, 2 of those games without Jacobs. If both are healthy, I think this is going to be a really tight game. Jordan Love obviously has more experience if that's the case, but I think the atmosphere is going to just be incredible
Yeah.
in Chicago Saturday night, and I have them winning a close one, 24-20.
There you go. Same pick as Mr. Bear
Let's
himself.
go, Keith.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to find a bet for an exact score and see if we
let's
can do
do that.
24-20.
Yeah, mine was 24-23, but
Oh,
I'll give it
I thought yours was
24-20.
24-20 as well.
We're doing that.
There you
Go
go. You guys are on the same page.
Go Bears.
That's a good thing. The Bears.
I love that skit.
That is a good one. All right, moving on to Sunday, the Bills and the Jags. Keith, kind of echoing what you've said about franchises. There's winning franchises and there's losing franchises, and I actually think the Jaguars win this game, hosting the Buffalo Bills. Duval is going to be off the chain, ready for this. They haven't won their division in a long time, so the fan base is pumped up. I know we got a lot of Jags fans in this area as well, but the Bills are actually a favorite on the road at -1.5. But I feel like the Jags are playing a lot better football going into this game than the Buffalo Bills are.
Yeah, the concern is just Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And the Bills have one big fatal flaw. It's obviously their run defense, right? They lost Ed Oliver. They have been absolutely terrible versus the run since then. But the good news for them, only New England on the AFC bracket side is top 10 in the league in rushing. Typically, poor run defenses do not win the Super Bowl, but the last bad run defense to win it all, there's some similarities here. 2006 Indy Colts, led by another quarterback. Many questioned if he could ever win the big one. Peyton Manning won his first title in his 8th season. It is Josh Allen's 8th season in the league. But to your point, Jaguars enter 8 straight. Liam Cohen, I guess, is really that guy. Because if you think about it, this team drafted Travis Hunter 2nd overall. He's been on IR and been basically a non-factor all season.
Yep.
Brian Thomas followed up that 87, 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown season with 48 receptions for 700 yards and 2 touchdowns. And despite that, the Jags ranked 6th in points per game. I think I have to go with the Bills here in a shootout, like 35-31, again, just because of Josh Allen. But I think there is a very good chance the winner of this game ends up representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, and I could absolutely see it going either way.
Absolutely. I mean, I know Bills fans have been itching at this for a long time. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. If there was a year for the Bills to get past this mountain, this is the year. But it starts with making that trip down the coast, down to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars this Sunday at 12 on CBS. Max, what do you think? Bills, Jags?
I'm going to go 34-27 Bills.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is Shakir going to have a monster game?
I think
Dawson Knox and the other one.
I think Keith hit on it well too with Josh Allen being that X factor, which I mean we all know. And I just think like whenever the Bills are in the playoffs, it's a totally different offense because they let Josh Allen run so much more than they do during the regular season.
Bingo.
Which is so fun to watch too because he is a strong dude. And he's one of my favorite. It's when they unleash guys like him or like Mahomes, and I know Mahomes is has the ginger run, but those guys who lower their shoulder and can knock linebackers over,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
pretty hype. I've been a pretty big Josh Allen non-believer in these big games, but I do think he's going to get it done, and I do think Liam Cohen's the real deal, which I definitely did not think he was going to be. So I've definitely
Future is very bright in Jacksonville, whether they win
yeah,
this
because
game or
They
not.
got a lot of picks coming up too.
I've probably had to eat a lot of crow because I thought Trevor Lawrence was pretty much done. Like I think like the hype behind him was just not real, and he's
Well,
been
he
awesome.
finally got a coach that understands the offensive side of the football game.
Yeah, the scheme has been so much better this year, and that's why guys like Parker Washington
Yep.
and Brenton Strange, not the guys that you would expect, are just feasting. And really, ETN's been fine, but they're not a great run
Mm-mm.
offense, and that's again why I worry. I'd take Allen over T-Law still if it turns into which one of them can make more plays.
Gotcha.
How much do you guys trust the Jags defense? Because it's been pretty dang good.
I trust it more than the Bills defense. That's why
Yeah.
I was leaning against the Jags in this game. I mean, if you can just stop Josh Allen, which is a big task, I feel like the Jags should be able to win this game.
That's
Yeah.
it. You just got to stop like a guy that's won multiple MVPs.
Yeah.
It's a bad man. And don't forget James Cook too.
Yep.
Guy led the league in
Monster
rushing.
year, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Jags, they have a good run defense, but it is going to be tested in this game because they had some games, most of their losses early in the season. That's what happened was they got ran on and fell behind and just struggled because when they're like a lot of teams, Sam Darnold with Seattle, when they get behind and everybody knows you're going to throw it, that's when some of the bad throws come.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving to the matinee game on Sunday. I was really wishing we were going to go to Chicago because just
I'm sure you were.
the
I would
one
too.
place that you never want to go, and I'm sorry because Philadelphia has been a thorn in my side with both hockey and football for both my roommates in college were from
Aw.
Philadelphia, and
The worst accent. It's everything.
I from sports standpoints, the Flyers, the Eagles. I'm not really a baseball fan, so I have
Have
nothing
you seen
against the
Silver
Phillies.
Linings Playbook?
I have not.
Okay, probably good. Then.
Dude, you have got to watch it. It's
I'll
so
go home and watch it
good.
right after this. Silver Linings
So
Playbook.
good.
Got it.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Bradley Cooper.
the only place in the NFL that has a holding cell in their stadium for people to be transferred out to the actual jail there in Philadelphia. Just got to watch out for Kensington Street.
Do you hate the movie Invincible?
I have nothing against him. I mean, that was a great movie and a great story. But anyway, our season probably comes to an end in this horrible place.
We'll see.
Coming up this Saturday at Sunday, 3:30, the matinee game. You talked about it, Keith. You have to have a run defense in order to win football games. Like Max and I talked, every linebacker that made our 53-man roster has either been on the IR or injured currently and have been out for several games. I just don't know how we're going to stop the run without giving up, deep plays by dropping our safeties in to fill those run gaps. I just don't know how we're going to. And I know Philly's offense hasn't really been that great, so that's my only hope is that continues into this particular game. But I just don't trust our defense. I mean, we saw what happened. I mean, I say we saw what happened against Seattle, but at the same time, we had a lot of opportunities to, still be in that game, but Seattle's defense just suffocated
I
everything we
thought
were
your
trying to do.
defense was pretty good in that game, though. Seattle's got one of the best offenses in the league by a ton of metrics.
But the run game just is what scares me. I mean, when we have a
They
team
ran all over.
third and
You're right.
17 trying to get off the field and they run a little, option to the right and they get a first down, that stuff can't happen. That was me and
No.
John Lynch were both equally disappointed after that particular play. So, but yeah, Keith, if the Niners are going to hang in this game, what do they need to do?
They just got to continue to outscore everyone. And I
to
mean,
get Trent
Vince
Williams back
Purdy,
too.
that is huge. Like if Trent Williams doesn't play, I give y'all zero chance. If he plays, I think it's a 50-50 game because Purdy has been so good. And I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. Since he returned, y'all ranked fourth in points per game with 30 points per game. That includes, again, that how many points y'all score in that game
3.
Sunday? So, yes, 3. So think about that. 30 points per game, including that since Purdy returns. He's second in QBR and has the lowest sack rate in that time and completing an absurd 5.1% of his passes over expectation. I mean, that is a very, very high rate for that stat. But the key is Jalen Hurts, right? I didn't realize this. Like the difference in the wins and losses is insane. So in the wins this year, 19 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, almost actually does match your boy's absurd 5.1%. That's what his completion percentage over expectation is. And the losses, 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, 0.1 completion percentage over expectation. And that's why I think the Eagles may have been the best team for you to draw in this, playoff bracket because I don't know if they can keep up with you potentially because I think you can attack the Eagles. And I think Kittle's going to be a huge mismatch. PMC in the passing game will be a huge mismatch. Now, you're going to have a hard time running the ball, but you've kind of had a hard time running the ball all season. And
Yeah.
I just think that Purdy with his legs is going to give y'all a chance. I think it's really close. I think you pull the upset 24-21.
I like it. I just worry about Carter and Davis getting so much pressure. We saw what happens when there's a lot of pressure on Purdy. It doesn't allow time for the offense to develop and all that stuff. I also
That
thought
was without Trent, though. If
that is
Williams is
true.
back, I feel like you're going to be better at kind of preventing the pressure getting to him.
It was funny, the guy that replaced Williams, because Williams didn't play against the Bears either. I mean, he went out after the first play of the game, and that guy did so much better in that game. But obviously, I'm assuming the Bears pass rush is not as good as the Seahawks pass rush because they just got so much pressure, and there was no time. And even when Purdy tried to escape, their defensive lineman could run down Purdy
Yep.
very, very easily. So I'm a little more hopeful now after hearing what you said, Keith. So I'll get my positive cap back on. Max, what do you think?
Is Pearsall back?
I think I read something earlier today that he has re-aggravated his PCL sprain.
Oh,
So I doubt it.
That
okay.
guy can't stay healthy.
Well, I'm
man.
going off.
No, I'm worried about his future in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm going off the basis that Trent's going to play. I'm going to go 23-29ers.
I like it.
I wanna-
let's
I kind of
go.
want to hop on the spread right now, but it's 4.5, and that's kind of tempting because I don't think the Niners will lose by more than 4. Famous last words, but
I think that's a recency bias spread because we only scored 3 points in our last game. But we were
agree.
very close to scoring that touchdown, too, that got tipped at the line and then went off of CMC's hands. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we scored that touchdown. That's a whole nother ball game, obviously, ifs and buts,
Completely.
candies and nuts. But that's football. Stuff like that certainly happens. All right. The final game of the wild card weekend, the Chargers at the Patriots. Patriots are currently a 3.5-point favorite at the house. Keith,
Wait a minute, we got one more game on Monday. The Texans.
oh, that's
favorite.
right.
Yes.
Sorry. I didn't scroll down far enough. Go ahead. Chargers, Patriots. What do you think the keys to this one are?
I just worry that if the Chargers go on a run, it might literally lead to the death of Justin Herbert. He has been under siege this season. I know they've lost both their tackles. He has, said out last week, he's been contacted on throws or sacks 206 times. That's 34 more than any other quarterback. The 54 times he was sacked, only Cam Ward and Geno Smith with 55 was sacked more. I think the big thing, too, is New England. Everybody's worried about their run defense because if you remember, they were incredible early in the season. I think it was through week 9, nobody had more than 50 yards as an individual rusher versus them. But 12 through 17, weeks 12 through 17, they ranked 31st in yards before contact, 32nd in defensive rushing success rate. Remember, there's only 32 teams that can qualify for that category. But the big thing is they were without Milton Williams, which is just an example, kind of like Ed Oliver in Buffalo, of guys that you would never think about, the big uglies in the trenches. They signed him to a massive contract this offseason, and he missed that entire stretch from week 12 to week 17. He came back in the Miami game, and I know they were without H.M., but they just shut down Miami's run game. I think they averaged 2 yards per carry. I think that is going to be a bad sign for the Chargers. I expect the Patriots to win on a route. I am worried the Patriots have a legit chance to win the Super Bowl, which is the last thing in the world I want because similar to Patrick Mahomes in, what was it, the 2019 season, 2020 when he beat you guys, Ryan?
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that was only I think my point is it was only his second or third year starting.
Yeah.
And I feel like May is the kind of talent where at the end of these playoffs, we're going, holy crap, this dude is the next guy. I think New England wins pretty big, say 31-13.
Max?
Well, the Chargers are kind of like a roulette. It's honestly like Russian roulette. You don't know if you're getting a bullet or not. They don't make any sense to me. And honestly, looking back on it too, I remember the Chargers actually did beat the Eagles by 3. So that makes me feel a little better about my Niners over the Eagles prediction. Bears handled Eagles on the road. I think, Niners are fine. They got it. Anyway.
I like y'all's confidence.
On the Chargers front, like Keith said, I think they had the 31st ranked pass block defense, 32nd ranked rush block defense. Basically, yeah, like Herbert being alive is a miracle in itself. So he's one miracle away from being a saint. But honestly, I don't know what it is. I think we're gonna get this is gonna be a great coach game between Harbaugh and Vrabel, and I kind of want to see the Chargers pull it off, so I'm just going to go with Chargers 27-23. I think we're going to see a good version of Herbert. Harbaugh's going to make the proper corrections, and we'll find out. We'll roll the chamber and see what comes out. Yep.
See what happens. Yeah, Chargers obviously kind of get to the playoffs and sometimes make some big mistakes and let leads go away, but Patriots.
They do have a great defense.
They do have a great defense.
I mean, if they show up,
imagine if they still had those 2 tackles.
I know. No, that would be a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, it shows how
important. Who is it? Joe Alton? Who?
Their other first round
Ryan
pick.
Slater.
Yeah.
Ryan Slater. That's his name.
Yep. So bummer there.
What's your pick?
I got to go with the Patriots. I think they just dominate this game on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So I would go Patriots like 21-13 kind of football game there. If the Chargers can get 13, Herbert's going to have to stay upright, and I just don't know if that's going to be possible.
I don't hate that because I'm sure Harbaugh's going to try and take the longest possessions possible because you don't want to have
absolutely.
Yeah, just keep.
So maybe I'll walk back. I'm just going to leave my score.
Yeah, you should. All right, and now officially for real this time, the last game of the wild card weekend. That is Monday Night Football at 7:15 right here in the Central Time Zone. That is the Texans and the Steelers. I'll start on this one. I don't think the Steelers stand a chance in this game. That's just my opinion. Texans offense and defense, Steelers offense and defense, they're just on 2 completely different levels. Steelers probably shouldn't even have made the playoffs. Actually, they shouldn't have made the playoffs, except obviously the kick that we talked about earlier. But CJ Stroud versus Aaron Rodgers, if it was Aaron Rodgers 15 years ago, maybe talking a little bit different. But Houston's linebackers are so damn good. They're going to get so much pressure on Rodgers. It's going to force him to make mistakes. And I think the Texans come out handedly in this one, like a 24-7 kind of ball game. Max, go ahead.
Beat down.
Yeah, no, I really think this is going to be a butt whooping. And I kind of like the Texans because DeMeco Ryans, I loved him when he was with the Niners. So to see him be so successful on his own head coaching job is really cool to see. And Texans are just a fun team to watch.
Yep. I'm gonna say goodbye, Rodgers. Hope you find your paradise. The Texans blitz at a ridiculous rate compared to the rest of the league, which I love. I saw something on X where it's like they call it, like line it up, F stick, football, which I love. Like that's what DeMeco Ryans does, and I love it. I think Rodgers is going to be
great linebackers,
fearing for his life. Yeah, I mean between Lassiter, Petrie, Anderson, Daniil Hunter, that defense is ridiculous.
Alshire.
Yeah, that defense just gets me fired up. I'm kind of with you here. I'm gonna go 24-10 Texans. I think, and I fear for not to look ahead. The Jags or Bills, like Josh Allen's 2 worst games the past 2 years have been against the Texans. So you can only look at one at a time. But I mean, I don't trust Sean McDermott to out coach a ham sandwich. So I'm looking forward to that if that happens. But
we shall see. Keith, what do you think?
I mean, the Steelers are in trouble. This is a defense that has relied all season on sacks and turnovers. They got the wrong team for that to be what their defense relied on. Houston allowed the second fewest sacks this season, and they turned the ball over only 12 times, fewest in the NFL. And I've been saying this for a while. I think Houston isn't being talked enough about a potential Super Bowl winner. Like, forget making the Super Bowl, but the winner. Their offense has shown signs of life since Stroud's came back, and he's been best when it matters the most. He's got the 7th highest QBR in the 4th quarter, and he's 7th best on third down. And remember, Houston has gone 12-2 since their 0-3 start. It's pretty remarkable that they're here when people were burying them not even a month into the season.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think that's gonna be the game that may be the most quote unquote boring. Could be the Niners Eagles too, but I like y'all's confidence in that. That's for sure. Getting back to those Super Bowl odds, the Houston Texans on Hard Rock are a 12-1. I think that's great value. $15 bet
Mhm.
pays you a good bit of money. $195, and if you got any bonus in there, you might be able to win a little tiny bit more as well. But that kind of rounds out all your wild card matchups coming up this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A lot of football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Still kind of crazy that the college football semis are on a Thursday and a Friday. Why not?
I like it.
I know they can't compete with the NFL, but maybe they could. But yeah, now we get 5 straight days of high level football, so that's exciting too. Keith, before we let you go, remind everybody where they can find all your awesome DFS content.
The best place to go is my Twitter. That's at Keith Fleming, KeithFleming. But you should go to fantasy6pack.net. We're getting ready to ramp up the baseball coverage. I'm going to start covering golf again here in a few weeks. No matter what the season, we've got great analysts that give you a lot of data and information to help you win money in whatever that sport is. So again, that's fantasy6pack.net. Be sure to follow Fantasy Six Pack on YouTube and Spotify.
Awesome stuff. Go follow Keith Fleming on Twitter /X KeithFleming. Keith, appreciate you jumping on as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day, guys. Enjoyed it.
You too, Keith.
Bye, Keith. I was looking on Hard Rock as to see what the Texans odds were. I was going to place a bet for them to win the Super Bowl while we're sitting here. And I was like, why is there more money in my account than I remember? I forgot I did. There was a 50% hockey boost yesterday, and I just threw a random 3 out there, and I guess it hit.
Let's go.
So the Capitals -1.5, Ovechkin over 0.5 goals, and then Cutter Gauthier 2.5 shots over that. So apparently that happened. So I seem to win more stuff when I do that than actually try to do some research and make sure I'm making an educated bet when it comes to betting. But
Throw
it
stuff at the wall.
just goes to show you can throw stuff at the wall as well, and you win just as much. Max, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't give you a chance yet, but tell everybody your new venture.
It's all right.
Not it's a new vent, not what you've always been a lender, but you're on your
company.
own
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You got your own business. So tell everybody about that and how they can find you.
Thanks. Yeah, Coastal Haven Lending.
Love the name.
Thank you so much. Yeah. 13302 Hutchison Boulevard over in the Beach House Sales and Development Office.
There you go.
Doing the same products, same things, wholesale lending. We can do everything. Just don't touch land because the juice is not worth the squeeze.
There you go. Speaking of Juice and Sunsets, you can check them out on Facebook or on their website, juiceandsunsets.com. And of course, go visit Golf Plus for all your golfing needs. It is beautiful out there today. Get out on the course. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back on Thursday. Y'all have a great rest of your day.